In counseling children, we must first know about the reason behind those actions, those fears, and those resentments. So in counseling, we need to have skills in order to understand children. What is counseling? Counseling is the broad sense of the term is simply expressing your ideas about how someone can improve the situation. So, human beings are always faced with issues that involve a degree of anxiety. An obstacle or challenge is presented by poor choices or circumstances, and a decision must be made about how to approach the issue in order to reduce the tension and restore hope. So before you counsel children, you must know the reason why the children act that way. And you must also establish first a goal. Why are you counseling the children? So there are fundamental counseling skills. First is the reflective statement. So what is reflective statement? Reflective statement is the use also to educate the client or the children who is unaware of his emotions, and so it is one of the core counseling skills. So you need to know first how the children cope up with his own emotions. This means to simply take what the client has said and reflect it back to him, including a feeling word. Because sometimes when the client is speaking, he doesn't attach feeling words. For example of that feeling, fear, anger, annoyed, guilt, sadness, emptiness, low self-worth, despair, happy, excited, hopeful, and so on. He doesn't have these words in his vocabulary. And if we offer the words, we can help him begin to identify painful feelings. The reflective statement is also the key skill for helping the client gain insight and to feel supported and validated when done with sincere empathy. For the example of a reflective statement, maybe a female client who says she had a fight with her husband because he wasn't doing his share of the household responsibilities and he agreed to do. I make this kind of statement. So as a counselor, you may say this. So maybe you feel annoyed with him because he didn't follow through with the task you have agreed on, and what made more of your work is that how you feel. So you have to emphasize a feeling for that for whatever the client has said to you. So maybe the client doesn't state what's her feeling about that. So you may put a feeling. So like for example, you are annoyed with what your husband said to you or what was happening to you. You are unhappy. That's the reflective statement. Then there's a closed-ended and open-ended question. So these are the answers, and the closed-ended questions is answerable only by one answer. While the open-ended questions is answered, there are a lot more answers with the open-ended. It's more on a reflective one. So the questioning approach, especially closed-ended questions that lead to one-word reply, tend to direct, lead, and control the session. These are useful in working with a very frightened client or with a small children who have limited insight and vocabulary or need structure to stay safe. But the closed-ended question approach follows the counselor's agenda. Example: yes, yes and no questions. So those are the closed-ended. So another counseling skills is building safety. So first you have to build safety. You make you feel your client comfortable, or the children make it feel comfortable that they will not be frightened to speak out what their feelings and to express more about their inner problems or inner inner, huh? Yes, their inner behavior or something that's bothering them. That's it. So let's go more of the observation skills. So it doesn't have to be a teacher, the counselor, or the children talking, but it can also be done through observation. So observation is how you note taking the behavior of the child, how the child acts that way. You have to observe or investigate the reason behind that actions or the mistaken behavior. So in observation skills, it is more of a non-verbal communication. So you have to observe the facial expression of the child, how the child socializes with others, how the child behaves. So there are a lot of factors to be considered in observing. But in observation skills, the counselor or the teachers must have these skills to properly observe the child. So it has to be done, it must have set a time for an observation of the child. Next is the active listening skills. The active listening skills. So listening skills is very important when it comes to counseling children. You need to listen thoroughly what children have said or what the client has said to the counselor. So counselors strive to provide their clients with a warm, positive, safe environment. One way they can do this through an active listening. When a client knows that his counselor truly cares about what he has to say, he is more likely to open up about his problems. Counselor can use several techniques to improve their active listening skills. So first is eye contact. Eye contact is very important because this can show that you are really listening to what the client has said or to what the children might have said. So establishing good eye contact is one of the most important ways, as I have said, in which a counselor can indicate that she is interested in what her client has to say. Staring the client down can be counterproductive, but making quick, direct eye contact every 3 or 4 seconds is an important part of an active listening. So you have to establish an eye contact with the client or with the children. Next is the posture. So you have to maintain your posture. Adapting a relaxed, open posture sends a message that the counselor is ready to listen to the client. So keeping the arms and legs and across, directly facing the person, and leaning slightly forward are effective ways to validate the client. Next is the paraphrasing. People sometimes struggle to make sense of their thoughts and feelings. One way that the counselor can assist their clients with this is by paraphrasing. This active listening skill involves restating something that the client has said. For example, a client might say, "I don't know, I just really didn't like it when she made fun of my work. It made me feel humiliated." So that's what the client might have said. So as a counselor, you can say, "So when she criticized your job, it made you feel embarrassed." So you are paraphrasing the client have stated. That's it. That's the paraphrasing. Next is the summarizing. From the word itself, you have to summarize what the client has said. So many people enter counseling because they feel overwhelmed by the obstacles in their life. Sometimes clients can be long-winded in relaying these problems to a counselor. Counselors can reassure the client and listening actively by summarizing what has been said. So, in order to tell the client that you are interested in her stories, you have to do the summarizing her story, so that the client might feel that she really listened to the story. So you have to give what you call that? Give kanang insurance. Give an insurance nga nagaligalisin ka sa iyaha. So other children or some kanang nagpa-cancel sa imo nga feel nga wala man tingali siya ninaw sa ako kay wala siya kasabot sa akong result eh. So you can give an insurance nga you are listening actively through by summarizing the client's choice or the children what that has said. So next is clarifying. One of the best ways in which a counselor can demonstrate active listening is by asking questions meant to clarify something his client has said. So for example, a client might say, I am so upset. I just feel like crying all the time. So a counselor could ask a clarifying question such as, how many times in a day would you say you come to close to tears? So that is for clarifying. And the next is empathetic reflection. So this is more of the reflections of the client. It involves listening for the client's feelings and responding to them. It can validating for a client to hear someone else reflect on how she's feeling. A client may say, I don't even want to get out of bed most mornings. I can't imagine another day without my wife. So a counselor might use empathetic reflection by saying, you feel lonely and sad because of your wife's passing. You can say that. And what is the importance of listening? Listening makes the person who is talking feel worthy, appreciated, and respected. So that is the importance of listening. The client might feel, I am respected because ma-feeling lang na sila yung mapagawa sa ilang problema, na sila there are some people who could understand their problems and who could understand themselves and their feelings. So that's the importance of the listening. So next is helping children tell their stories. How do we, some children are afraid to open up, to speak up their problems. So, afraid to, they might, maulaw sila sa istorya, because you are an adult and child. So, how can we help them to tell their story? So, evoking children personal stories can be an effective way to give a child the opportunity to express and to work through their feelings. So we have to give them more time. We have to give them more space to express their feelings. So we cannot force them. Don't force the child to tell their stories. Just let them open up. In a recent encouraging children to tell their personal stories, there is a need to share more than troubling experience and stories. The mere repeating of painful elements of the experience can have a negative effect. Dwelling upon troubling circumstances tends to reinforce the damaging aspects of the experience and psychologically sabotages the healing process of the child. Teachers and parents need to help the child to remember comforting and pleasurable stories. So, if the child is already processing her stories, iya na ginatel sa adult or sa teacher or sa parents, just let the child speak up. Then, whatever troubling her, don't push her nga, sige, istorya pagawas. No, just let the child voluntarily speak what's bothering her or him. So let the child, don't force the child to tell that story, because it might it cause a trauma on the child, or it can cause some painful experiences for the child that the child doesn't want to go back, doesn't want to remember it anymore. So there are many ways to encourage our children to remember good and successful times. Begin by telling a story in which the child overcame an obstacle. So as I said, so you begin a story. So para dili pud bugat kay sa child nga start og pag-awas and problems. So you begin you encourage them to tell their stories, have kanang their best stories first, mga positive outcomes nga ilang buhat until nga ma-process din niya kung maabot din mo sa negative outcomes. Then ma-express na din niya ang iyang feelings, iyang failures, iyang burdens, at iyang problems. So you have to reaching out to children. So reach out to the children. As parents, teachers, grandparents, and adults, it is our responsibility to reach out to children and invite them to share their personal stories. In this process, we need to share our stories with them. So dili lang sila ang mag-share sa ato. So encourage them nga mag-share po sila sa stories through sa imong pag-share sa imong stories. So adults must have a great responsibility to share first the stories before nga ang child must share. Diba na may ubang nga bata nga di sila mo share kung wala ang ubang dili mo share. So unhan gina nimo perminti ang bata. So we cannot be afraid of showing our vulnerabilities. However, at the same time, we must demonstrate that we are taking care of ourselves and that we are there for them. They need to know that they are our primary concern. If we share the stories of our struggles, triumphs, and even our failures in the midst of troubling times, and we give them the opportunity to tell their stories, we will provide some of the important conditions necessary for our children to feel secure or loved even in tough times. So it said that we need to share our stories. We need to tell first our stories to children, challenges, triumphs, success, failures, so that the child may know that there are still kanang makakope up gyapon sila, they can overcome it just like us. So inana man ang they will encourage to express more of themselves. A good way to help children begin to tell stories is to tell stories from their lives. So it started from the personal lives of children. This will not be stories in the literal sense. So dili siya story. This is not the story that you are expected from beginning, middle, then end. There's a plot, there's a setting, there are characters. So dili gina siya. Don't expect that. Children are stories ka na magputol-putol gina ang mga stories sa children. It's either they will start about how they are about their feelings, it comes with the experiences, and mag-ambak-ambak gina siya. So you cannot expect that the stories will be beginning, middle, and end. So you cannot expect the stories from mga inara ang stories sa child. So telling stories from our lives brings out the natural storyteller. We all know that the feel of the subject is comfortable telling it. So we have to provide a place where the child could feel comfortable in telling their stories. So there uban nga bata nga maulaw sila daghang tao. So you have to provide a place nga muraduha, mag-talk one-on-one. So you have to provide that para ma-feel sila siyang secure and comfortable. That's the time madili maulaw ang bata. So you can pick a topic. Dili ka mag-pick sa topic before you start to let the child express their problems. So you can pick a topic, any topic. You can, for instance, suggest a time you got hurt or were scared. When was the last time you feel happy? When was the last time you got scared? or you feel your feelings down. So when was the last time you were angry, you were sad? So you ask that questions with the child. You can ask them to tell stories about their parents. So ask them about their parents. Who are your parents? What's the name of your mother? What's the name of your father? Your brothers, your sisters? Or you can ask about their pets. So sometimes children love to talk about their pets, their favorite birthdays. So you can ask what you have done on your birthday? Just like that. The possibilities are endless. So please share your own stories with the children. So you have to share also your stories with the children. Hindi lang sila permitted ang mag-share. So they love it, as you probably already know. So children love stories. We all know that. So I think that's the last part of my report. So thank you, and I hope you learned something from my report.